Hello everybody, welcome to our today's tutorial. So today I will be taking you guys on how to make login in core PHP. Our last class we made registration. So please try to watch my last tutorial or my last video if you are not there. That is where we worked on registration. So there is no much difference. The only thing you can see that I did here is getting my form inputs ready and designing it to a test that I want, which I will take you through the process. I use Bootstrap to design it. So let's go straight to the point. Getting to this place, oh, don't mind that. This is my HTML document and then my form input. I actually use this Bootstrap here that you can see that I already downloaded, added to my project to design this. And this is where I linked my Bootstrap CSS here on line 27. So this is it. And now that this is done, I've already designed everything, giving it a name. Everything is okay for me. So let's proceed to the main stuff. Don't mind me, I already started, but I will be deleting it for easy so you guys will understand and not get lost. Okay, so this is where we are starting for now. Um it's been long I use core PHP. So required db.php. This is where we did our database connection. Sorry for the stuttering. So this is a db.php. You know, when you want to access your database or query your database, you need the connection. Seriously. So as you can see, I have my local host. The username is root by default. The password is usually empty if you have not touched yours. And then the name of my database is beginner, inside which I have a users table. So this if condition here that I just commented out, I used it to check if this was actually connected. Now that I'm sure that it's connected, I commented it out. Remember there is a comment is a line of code that is not being run. So that way, let's proceed. So you must require it here. If actually you know that true, you will be needing it. Like if you are going to be writing anything that has to do with the database, you must need it. So you have to require it in order to call on your connection. Except you want to write your connection in this same file. That way you will not be requiring the db.php. So let's proceed. The first thing first, we have to check if our form method is post or get, and if actually we set the name of our login button. Okay, so if you are wondering why I'm getting autocomplete, it's because I installed tab 9 on my VS Code, which is tabnine. You can get that in here in this extension. Clicking on it, you type tab 9 and then install it on your VS Code. It can help you a lot. It will help you. So what next should we do? If I set $_post, meaning if I check this thing to get and then be checking post, it will still give me an error, meaning that it will not even process the code. Meaning that it can only process the code when my form method here is post and my login button, the name here, is also login. So if I don't meet these two things, it will not process my code and I will get an error. So this is it. So it will now first and check. I will first of all and check if I set a form method called post and my login button is called login, then proceed with the normal coding. And what is the next code? Assigning a variable to the input that we are getting. I know normally how do you access an input? You give them a name here. And to easily access them, use $_post, then call the name of that input. Then we have email, we have password. So I have email. So but if you are to do it this way, for us to now go into the database, check the necessary things, calling on this email, calling it this way will be so much hard for us and might cause complications. So that's why we have variable. And you know that a variable serves as a handbag that you hold on to it and put in your different variable, different things. Like you have a handbag, you can put in your phone, you can put in your jotter, your pen. Later on, you can just carry the handbag and be going. From that handbag, you can get every other thing you need because you have added them there. So this way, we assign a variable called email. Very simple. Now we can easily access this input without going through this long process when we need them. So we need the one called pass, and we can easily $_ password. So now after you must have accepted this input, what is the next thing to do? Remember, this is a login. After a user gives us an input, we have to go into our own database and check what they gave us. Is it really what we have? Remember, you don't need to check the password because different people can have the same password. But your email, every user register must have a unique email. They must have a unique email. I did it here in my registration. As you can see, I checked the duplicate here on line 10. So if it is, if actually it exists, we tell you that this email has already existed though. And check what I did here on line 7. My password, I used PD5, meaning that I hashed it. So in my login here, if I do not use MD5 hashing it again, if a user tries to log it, you keep telling them password not found or user not found, meaning that I'm comparing a hash password to an unhashed password. It will never vary until I hash the both of them. MD5, very simple. This will simply hash my password. So if you didn't hash your password during registration and you come and hash it during login, it will still not work. You have to hash the both. So that way it is easy. Now what do we do? Let's go ahead and first thing first, we have to go ahead and check our database. So we can call this check mysqli underscore query. We are querying our database and we call on our connection, this connection here, db. We required this file. So when we call on this call, it will not tell us unknown variable because it can find this variable in this particular file. So that will not be an issue. So after requiring that, after adding that, you put in your double quotes, then select. We now be saying select. This star stands for everything. Don't get confused. So select everything from your table name. My table name here is users table, where email is equals to our variable name email. That is the only thing I'm checking for me. Because password, different people can have the same password. You never can tell. Okay, now when we check that, then okay. So make sure that your email variable here, this one here, has a single quote surrounding it. On line 8, this email variable, if it doesn't have a single quote surrounding it, it might give you an unexpected error. It will not even tell that this is the error. You just not be able to log in and all those stuff, and it will make you get confused. So to avoid that, make sure you check it. Okay. So what is the next thing? The next thing to do is fetch it in associative array. So you can say row equals to mysqli underscore fetch associative array. So those details, if you go into our database and then select everything from the users table where email equals the email they gave us, I want it to be in associative array for me. Understand? So after that, what is the next thing to do? We will now calculate the number rows. What is the next thing to do for us? We will calculate the number rows. That means this check that went here and get us and then went into our users table and find the mail that equals this mail. We will have to calculate. If it is not equal to, if it's greater than 0, that means that email actually exists in our database. We will have no other choice than to log them in, or we proceed in checking the password. But if it goes there and it sees is less than 0, that means he didn't find the mail. That means the person is not logged in. Okay? Is not registered with us, sorry. So we now do if my SQL, so SQLi underscore num rows. So remember, you are calling on that check variable. Okay, is greater than, if it is greater than zero, that means true, it exists. So after that, you will now check your password. If the variable called pass, that is the password they gave us, equals to, call on that row. You know, you fetched you all those details they fetched from our users table where email equals the email they gave us. We fetch it as associative array, and normally associative arrays are being accessed using what is it called? Let me show you what is it called again. So if pass equals the variable row, so this is what we normally use. So remove this zero here. So this bracket, square, yes, square bracket is what you use to access a detail in the associative array, this square bracket here. So we are now saying go into the associative array, this row, and check this password for us. You understand? Check it for us. So, and then if it equals this password here, that means that yes, this person does, the email does not need this. Also, their password is true. So we can log them in. But you know, when logging in a user, you have to save their details in a session. So dollar underscore session. It's been so long I used called PHP. I hope I'm getting it right. Session. I think we are giving our session a name called user. So we are saving the details of our all these people, the details we got in the check. So instead of saying row, let's store it as this check here. No, let's store the row. You understand? So this is a variable, a global variable. Session is a global variable. So we are giving it a name called user, which you are seeing here. So if in any case in our project, maybe we are working on something like crude application, and then for a user to add something, we have to make sure that user, the username is there or something. For us to access this user's detail, we have to do what? We have to use session user, and then equals row, and then square bracket, and call the particular column we want to check. You understand? So the details of this user all has been stored in this variable session called user, as you can see here. So this is it. And after this, what is the next thing? We have stored their user inside their details in a session. It's for us to just redirect them to where to be, or tell them, let's just redirect them. Let's create a file and call it. I have no intention of designing this welcome.php. I have already designed welcome.php that I can get. So don't get confused actually. I have welcome.php. Okay. So I've got something here. So I already designed this. It's not really designed, it's just something to make our code easier. I just want to show that you can redirect them. So here we can paste this. So okay, I think something is wrong. Okay. So let's go back to our normal coding, our login. There's something we didn't do here. We have to start a session. Now that I'm saving something inside the session, if you don't start a session, it will not even work even if I call it in this welcome.php. And how do we do that easily? So we don't call a session or start a session in every of our file. We can just start it here in this db.php, since every of our file is including and requiring this file. So we can just do session start. Session. Very, very simple. You start a session. You don't need to worry about starting a session anymore. And remember, you can't start a session twice. It will give you an error saying this has already been started. Though it should not stop your code from running. So when this is done, so we have to header. Header is using called PHP to redirect the user. So where am I redirecting them to? Okay. So I've actually forgot how to use this header of a thing. So how is it used? Okay, okay, okay. So where we are headed them to the login dot php. Okay. So we have successfully redirected them, but here we have to confirm that if MySQL num rows check, if you check and you don't find this email, if it's greater than zero, proceed in checking their password. But if it's not greater than zero, that means it's not there. Tell them that else echo your email is not in our database. Or probably your record was your email is not in our record or blah something something. Okay, so that is for the mail. So for the password, X. That means if the password is actually not there, if it's not there, we have to also tell them something. And what we are telling them is echo incorrect password. I think that should do. Okay, for now. So I think this is the login, the very simple way of doing login. Um, we have to check and run this code. If you have an error, we solve it. And if you're lucky enough not to have an error, fine. So let's proceed in checking this code out. Okay, hope everything is fine. So not sure. I once registered the user. Okay, okay. Okay, but I have to register another user because I can't remember. Okay, friska@gmail.com. You can give it our password must actually match if we don't want to get an error. So registration is successful. Let's confirm. So as you can see, it is here. So let's copy this mail, go back, try to log in. Okay, it worked. It worked for us. So in the welcome.php, we actually have an error. Okay, so here our session name is user. I think I called a different session name here. Okay, so I didn't actually save the session ID. Okay, okay. So I actually saved the session ID here. So don't mind me, I'm just copying it. It's practically the same thing that we wrote. So no need of repeating our code since we already have it stored here. So doing this, in here we have the session ID. So here where we are echoing the name, this fetch, we have to call it here. Remember, use dots for concatenation in PHP, concatenating a string and a variable. So here in our table, our name there is in our table, we don't have name, we have full name. And here we are accessing a different thing. So it should be full name. If I am not mistaken, it should be full name. Okay, okay. Okay, I can't figure out what this error or where it is coming from, or I sure know that we have gotten exactly what we want. I was just trying to make this login a better one by displaying the details of the full name here. But select everything from users. Okay, okay. This error must be coming from somewhere. Okay. Okay, so if you are not able to solve this error, take it as a kind of an assessment that you can take it upon yourself to solve. What matters most is that you have been able to log in a user and it worked perfectly fine for us. So I think that we come to the end of that is the end of our tutorial for today. We have been able to make a user to log in and we have been able to register a user. So take it as an assessment to display the username of the person that is logged in your welcome.php. And if you're not able to solve it yet, drop a comment on the comment section. I will respond. By then I believe I would have solved this error. Thank you for deciding to join my tutorial today. I really, really do appreciate. Thank you very, very much. See you next time.